decades of teaching experience and more than 2 decades of training experience, and with a wide exposure on working on academic systems and building academic systems, I am very happy to talk on outcome-based education in this video, which will help the people to implement outcome-based education in their respective field and organizations. Greetings to everybody. In my lecture series on outcome-based education, I am very happy to present this particular topic, knowledge as an outcome. Just to give a glimpse of what is an outcome. Outcome means what a learner will be able to do after learning something. They should be able to do something, and that is what is the learning outcome. And outcomes are of 3 types. It is knowledge, skill and attitude. In this particular video, you will be able to understand what is the meaning of knowledge as an outcome. For that, first you should be able to understand what is the meaning of knowledge. In a nutshell, knowledge deals with facts. Second, it deals with information. And the third, it deals with description of certain things. And this is what is knowledge in a nutshell. And when we talk about knowledge as an outcome, we have to talk about Benjamin Bloom, who was an American educational psychologist who has come out with what is called as Bloom's taxonomy, and I will be talking about revised Bloom's taxonomy. And what is that revised Bloom's taxonomy? Benjamin Bloom has divided, that is, has listed knowledge into 6 types. And it is called as K1, K2, K3, K4, K5 and K6. K1 stands for remember, K2 stands for understanding, K3 stands for applying, K4 stands for analyzing, K5 stands for evaluating and K6 stands for creating. So, remember, understand, apply, analyze, evaluate and create are the 6 levels of knowledge according to revised Bloom's taxonomy. And with this, we have to go into each and every level of knowledge and how it is being different from others. And therefore, I will take one topic and discuss that particular topic with respect to each and every knowledge level. The common topic which I am going to take is calibration. Now, with respect to the first knowledge level, remembering, let us discuss about calibration. But first, let us see what is the meaning of remembering. If a person has the capability to tell what already exists in a published material without any kind of change, then that person is said to have knowledge at the remembering level. Again, I would like to repeat, the capacity of a person to exactly repeat what already exists in the published material is what is called as remembering. So automatically, it is the capacity of a person who can retrieve information from long-term memory or from his memory or from his or her memory. Now, let us go in for an example. The example topic which I have taken is calibration. In books, in published material, calibration has been defined in this particular manner. Calibration is defined as giving a known input to a system and noting the system response. And if the system response is different from the known input, making alterations in the system so that the response matches the input. This is what is exactly the definition of calibration in books. Now, after learning, if the learner is able to exactly repeat what is already existing in the published material. For example, the definition of calibration which I said, without change in words. If the person is able to, if the learner is able to tell, then we can say that the learner has knowledge at K1 level, that is at remembering level. This is what is remembering. Now, let us look at knowledge level 2, that is K2, which is understanding. What is the meaning of understanding? The capacity of a person to use their own words and explain what they have learned without any kind of information loss. This is what is called as understanding. That is, making sense of what has been learned is understanding. So automatically it is very clear. It is a level higher than remembering. In our common topic, calibration is the topic which has been taken. If you look at remembering level, if a person is able to just define what is already existing in a published material, they have knowledge level 1. But knowledge level 2 means they should be able to tell it in their own words, but at the same time information loss should not be there. Now, it can be like this. For example, calibration means, or definition is already given, calibration means give a known input to a system. Now I am telling in my own words. Give a known input to a system, and if you give a known input to a system, the system will respond. And you see, what is that response? That response also should be according to the input which has been given, because we are giving a known input. But if we are not getting a response in accordance with the input that has been given, we have to make alterations in the system so that when we give a known input, we should get whatever output that is actually expected to be obtained. And this is what is the meaning of calibration. That is, give a known input, note the output of that particular system, and if the output of the system is not in tune with the known input, making adjustments in the system so that the output is going to match with the given known input. Therefore, no information loss is there. Exactly whatever was covered in the definition has been covered, but it has been explained in my own terms, and therefore it becomes knowledge level at the level of understanding. Now let us look at knowledge level 3, that is K3, which is applying. By definition, applying is the capacity of a learner to use whatever knowledge has been gained in a new situation, in a practical manner, in a new way. And especially a new way means, before that the person should not have used it in the same situation. Actually, in the learning process, it is like this only. For example, if a teacher is going to teach how to calibrate an instrument, and if an example has been given how to calibrate a micrometer, and if the learner is going to repeat it, then it is only remembering, it does not have anything to do with applying. Therefore, the concept has to be learned by the learner, but it has to be applied in a new situation. That is what is applying. And now, with the example which has been taken, calibration, I will tell how to calibrate, how to apply the concept of calibration on calibrating a digital weighing scale. Everyone knows in many of the shops there are digital weighing scales which are being used. If you are going to keep any weight, it will show what weight is being kept on the platform. Now, by the definition of calibration, when a known input is being given, that is, you take a 1 kg weight, and it should either be a primary standard or a secondary standard. Let us say you are going to take a 1 kilogram weight, and if you are going to place it on the weighing platform, automatically the reading in the digital scale is expected to be 1 kg. because you are placing either a primary or a secondary standard. That is exact weight will be there. Now, if that weight is below, the display shows below 1 kg or above 1 kg, then there is something required to be done in the system. Therefore, adjustments will be made in the system until when 1 kg weight is being placed, the digital weighing scale will show 1 kg. This is the process of calibration, and when any instrument is being used on a continuous basis, it will automatically require calibration to be done at definite intervals of time, and there are agencies to calibrate and certify that it has been calibrated, because then only it simply means that the instrument has the capacity to show correct reading. Therefore, this is a classical example of how an instrument has to be calibrated, and the example which was being used was how to apply concepts of calibration on calibrating a digital weighing scale. Now the fourth knowledge level, K4, is analyzing. Now let us first look at the meaning of analyzing. See, any system will have subsystems, and you are supposed to look at a system as subsystems, and if something goes wrong or goes well in one of the subsystems, it will definitely have an impact on the other subsystems or one of the other subsystems. If a learner has the capability to really very clearly tell, if something goes wrong here, this is what will happen in one of the other subsystems, then that is what is the capacity of a learner to say that they are good in knowledge level K4, which is analyzing. See, any concept will have concepts, and you have to look at sub-concepts. All the sub-components, if they work well, the system will work well. But if one sub-component does not work well, then definitely it will affect the performance of all the other sub-components or a few of the other sub-components. This is what is analyzing. Now let us take the example of calibration, which we are already taken as a common topic. You take the definition of calibration, we have the following terminologies: input, system, output, and we have taken an example of a digital weighing scale, how to calibrate it in the application part, and input is being placed on the platform, output is being seen on a digital scale. Now, if, for example, if the input is not being given properly, will the output get affected, and if it is going to get affected, in what manner it is going to get affected, and why it is getting affected in that particular manner? If a learner is able to tell, then we can say that the learner is very good in analyzing. For example, if the 1 kg weight is being taken, and if it is going to be thrown on the platform of a digital weighing scale, it will be an impact load, and automatically it will have an effect on the final output which is being displayed on the digital scale. Now, if the digital scale is going to be maintained, in room temperature, maybe the reading might be proper. If you are going to increase the temperature around the digital weighing scale, maybe even if the input is being given proper, the output will get affected. Therefore, the temperature around the digital weighing scale has an impact on the scale reading. All this very clearly tells that one component works well or does not work well has an impact on the performance of the system in some other place. The capacity of a person to very clearly understand this and explain this is the capacity of a person, which is called as K4 analyzing. Now let us look at knowledge level K5, which is evaluating. What is the meaning of evaluating? The capacity of a learner to analyze a situation and pass critical comments, and finally spelling out a verdict, that is coming to a decision based on a set of guidelines, is what is called as evaluation. See, in professional or personal career, each and every person will be required to analyze the situation, and finally, based on a set of guidelines, they will be required to take a decision. Automatically, evaluation is an important component of level of knowledge. With respect to the topic which has been selected, calibration, we will look at what is evaluation. So the situation is already known. Let us say we are going to take a 1 kg weight and throw it on the platform of a digital weighing scale. Input is not being given in a proper manner. Now analyze the situation and tell whether this is right or wrong. Now, if you are going to give an impact load, automatically because of that impact, the platform will get damaged, and because of that sudden impact, automatically things in the system also might get disturbed, which will have an impact on the final impact on the output of the system. So it is very clear, doing such things, giving an input to a system has to be done according to the specified required manner. Doing such things, giving an impact load, is not permitted, and therefore it is not supposed to be done. And these are the critical comments, and the final decision will be no impact load should be given on a digital weighing scale for the weighing scale to give a meaningful and acceptable reading. This is what is the meaning of evaluation. The ultimate and the sixth level of knowledge in revised Bloom's taxonomy is creating. But in terms of meaning, what is creating? Putting already available information in a new form, or adding something new to an already existing information because the situation demands to do so. This is what is creating. In life, we always come across situations where many times what we study in books or are exposed in a learning environment exactly does not happen in a practical situation. In such situations, we will not be able to get answers from books. Then we have to use what is called as our creative power, and that is why it has been kept as the highest level of knowledge. A person who is able to remember, understand, apply, analyze, evaluate will definitely be able to create if they are going to practice the art of thinking and putting concepts in practical situations, how they are supposed to be used. If they are able to do that, then creativity also becomes something which can be learned. In our topic, which is calibration, in the definition we have seen, we have to give a known input to a system and note the system response, and if the system response is different from the known input, we have to make alterations in the system so that the response matches the input. Now a situation is being given like this. Let us say a known input is not available, that is a primary standard or a secondary standard is not available. In such a case, how will you calibrate a digital weighing scale? And somewhere I have heard, it seems in an interview it was asked, it was a company, it was a very big company, I don't want to name the company, but it was a very big company. It was dealing with all kind of products, and when the interview panel asked the candidate after the 10th round, why should I select you? The candidate, it seems, he answered like this: sir, from my childhood, I have been blessed to have a mother who had very good cooking skills. And each and every time when I used to watch her, she used many ingredients, but one ingredient was very, very common. and it was none other than the salt which is being produced by your company. And therefore, I am a person who has grown up eating your salt. I will never let you down. The person was selected. This answer is not available in any book. The student or the candidate thought and really gave a creative answer. In the same manner, there are many companies which produce salt, and the company has such kind of a name in the market, they trust that brand. And you can take 1 kg salt belonging to that particular brand, because that brand is being trusted in the market to a great extent. You take that salt, and instead of a primary standard or a secondary standard, you can give that as the known input and carry out the entire calibration process. This is what is an example for creativity. Information is already available, but practically there might be some constraints which is being posed. We should find an answer, put the information together in a meaningful format, in an acceptable format, by using our creativity. To conclude with this particular topic of revised Bloom's taxonomy, I would like to tell any person who is putting in effort in order to acquire knowledge, they should always think they should acquire knowledge till the 6th level, and only then it becomes really meaningful and practical. Just stopping at the level of remembering or understanding or applying is not sufficient. We have to learn each and every topic, and each and every level is very important, because you cannot go from one level to another level before completing the previous level. Therefore, each and every level, there is nothing inferior or superior with respect to each level. But any topic which is going to be taken up by a learner for learning, they should start at K1 level and end at K6 level. Only then the journey of acquiring knowledge in the path of revised Bloom's taxonomy becomes possible and meaningful.